As we wrap up Hispanic Heritage Month this Sunday, a piece of Colorado heritage that was forgotten to history for over a century is getting renewed focus. A Colorado community played a role in desegregating schools decades before the landmark Brown versus Board of Education decision in 1954. I spoke with those who are trying to make sure that this case gets the credit it deserves.
Colorado's San Luis Valley is home to families who trace their roots back generations, well before Colorado was a state. Representative Matthew Martinez is one of them.
We're descendants of the original Spanish colonial settlers in the area.
An area steeped in culture and history, but history can be forgotten. In 1908, the Alamosa School Board built what was known as the Mexican School, although many of the students spoke English.
It was actually one that was built in cooperation with both the white and Mexican American community. However, in 1912, you have a change in policy regarding that school, where the school board decides that regardless of English proficiency or any language proficiency, anyone that has been identified as being Mexican American or Mexican descent has to go to that school.
The school district claimed it wasn't about race. They were just preparing the students for the Anglo school.
So it was a pedagogical argument that it wasn't racial segregation, it was pedagogical separation. So it wasn't illegal according to Colorado State Code.
The families, however, argued it was discrimination and they didn't want to be told they had to go to one school. Is that correct?
Yeah.
In 1913, the group hired Denver lawyer Raymond Sullivan to file a lawsuit. The main plaintiff was Francisco Maestas and his son Miguel. They lived just 2 blocks from the Anglo school.
The Mexican school was actually south of the tracks. And so Mr. Maestas had to walk across this railroad track, which is very extremely dangerous. And it was 7 blocks from his home, although the Anglo school was a lot closer.
In 1914, a district court judge ruled in the family's favor, and it made some national news. But it wasn't until more than 100 years later that Dr. Gonzalo Guzman stumbled onto an old article about it. He and others have sought to bring more light to the case and its significance in the history of school segregation.
This is part of our history, and I do mean our United States American history, that this isn't just about the Mexican American experience, this is about our national experience.
A memorial now stands at the Alamosa County Courthouse. Another sculpture has traveled the state.
Why is it important to remember cases like the Maestas case?
One thing I've learned here is that, and growing up in the San Luis Valley, we can celebrate our successes and know that the fight's never over. We have to continue pushing. We have to continue telling these stories.
So I asked both of them if they know what happened to Miguel Maestas. He does have descendants still living in the San Luis Valley. They also were unaware of the case and his involvement. Representative Martinez told me he thinks that since the Alamosa School Board never challenged the ruling and it didn't go to any higher court, that might be why it didn't get as much attention as later desegregation cases would.